2, 1.
Okay, so another piece of what you're doing is helping at communion and then also helping people to leave. I know everything seems so measured, but this is the way in which we've been able to keep any spread of infections down, is by helping people to keep a distance. So at communion time, when the communion ministers have all received communion, while they're receiving communion as a greeter or as an usher, what you're going to do is come to the aisle and to the area in which you are responsible. So right here I'm in the middle of the aisle. So what you'll do is you'll be inviting a pew at a time to come to receive communion, but then you'll also be sanitizing their hands, okay? So you'll be given a small sanitizer bottle, and our phrase is a dab will do. If you give a full squirt, which I just poured onto the carpet, it's way too much, and they're going to still be drying their hands forever. So just a little squirt, kind of like a half a squirt, a half of a distance, half a pump or a quarter of a pump, just enough to get some on their hands. And then they can spread that into their hands, and it really is enough. So what you'll do is, once your Eucharistic minister comes to their Eucharistic minister station, then you'll come and you'll invite this pew to come to communion. You'll give them a little squirt, and then that person will come to communion, and then the next person in the aisle, and you're just going to go one by one. When they're done, then you'll go to the next pew and go through the same exercise, and then on to the next pew and go through the same exercise. They'll find their way back to their pew also. At the end of Mass, we've been, oftentimes if you've been at Mass and you've been hearing us at the end of Mass say to please wait for your usher to help you to leave the pew, what we're going to do is, Davis is over there, so if he were the person, the greeter, it could be you, but if he were the greeter in that section, at the end of Mass, and this will happen really kind of during the closing song. He will begin letting the people out of this aisle from the back. So he'll encourage those people to leave, and then he'll move forward, and then he'll encourage those people to leave. And then he'll move forward and he'll encourage those people to leave. And then once he gets to the front of that section, you'll notice, then he'll go to the other section. We go one section at a time. The whole object is to not have people be walking too close with each other. Again, trying to keep our social distancing. And then once these sections are done, then the greeter over in the far section in the back, then they will start doing that with those sections. Our practice has discovered that once we get these sections out, then the two corner back sections, then the flow is much easier. And then once they're done, then we begin working on the front sections. And the same activity will happen. The usher who is up there in that front corner, they'll start releasing people from the front half of church. I know it's a lot of orderliness and things, but at the same time, this is how we've been able to stay open and really have not any spreads going on inside of our church. And that is the most important thing during this time, during this pandemic, to keep everybody safe. So I believe that is how we're going. All I can tell you about communion and releasing people.